Okay, so somebody sent me a clip of Don Lemon interviewing Elon Musk, and they were talking about ketamine. So if you guys want to see the clip, I didn't have time to pull it up. Just Google Musk, Don Lemon, and ketamine. Uh, First of all, I want to throw out the reason why that question was actually asked. Don Lemon doesn't care about your mental health. He doesn't care about helping people. What he was trying to do was show that Elon has mental issues, and he was trying to throw shade on him in front of his shareholders in the world, that he has depression and mental illness issues that he's hiding from people. That was the point of the question. It was not about tell us about ketamine to help other people. But Don Lemon's a shady, trashy person, and so you're going to get shady, trashy things that come from shady, trashy people. Um, the thrust of that was, as oftentimes happens with those people when they try to throw shade on people about things they have no understanding of, it ends up being beneficial to people. Ketamine is amazing. Psychedelics are also quite fantastic. Psychedelic literally means to shed light on the psyche, to shed light on the soul. Because what happens with psychedelics, ketamine, LSD, psilocybin, all those, it breaks down the barriers between the conscious and the subconscious, allows your subconscious and conscious to actually kind of communicate. It is phenomenal for clearing depression, anxiety, PTSD, addictions, things like that. If you are not familiar with ketamine, you need to start looking at ketamine. If you have any issues that relate to anything dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, mental illness, any of those things. There are certain mental illnesses that it's contraindicated for, but go talk to these guys. Do not rule yourself out. I think schizophrenia is one of the only ones that we try to lean away from. Even bipolar. Some people won't do bipolar. That you can do bipolar work. You just have to make sure that you're even on the days that you do your ketamine. So if you're really high manic or you're really low and depressed, you don't want to do it. But if you're kind of in the center, having kind of a normal day, go ahead and knock it out. Talk to your healthcare providers. Don't use that as the doctor said I could do it. But definitely contact your healthcare providers on that and try to figure out the best option for you. But ketamine's spectacular. So the reason that psychedelics like psilocybin and LSD and MDMA are illegal is not because they're dangerous. It's because to a person, it's because they're dangerous to the pharmaceutical industry. In the 60s, they did a ton of research showing that anxiety, depression, PTSD, and addiction can be easily solved, not like treated, but solved with psychedelics. I've seen people who are wildly addicted to cocaine and heroin and opioids and all sorts of different things. Even I've read cases of people who are having sexual addictions and other weird addictions that after they went through their ketamine process, which usually takes about a month, sometimes 6 weeks, they were no longer addicted to the cocaine or to the heroin or to the issues they were addicted to. And the problem with that is for pharmaceutical companies is that if you fix a problem, you can't make money off of it every day. And so they made them illegal. They pushed to make them illegal. And so they've been illegal. There's a massive smear campaign out against them, just like there was against cannabis, just like there was against testosterone, because this country makes money and the politicians make money when you're sick, when you're unhealthy, when you're unhappy. So they tried to push for those things to be harder to get because a nation sicker, goes more drugs funds politicians and that whole deal. That's the whole corporatism or fascism model that we have. So that's the issue that's going on. Now, I want you to hear something. I did not just say that ecstasy and street ketamine and acid was okay to take. I said that the chemical itself is safe. When it's properly pharmaceutically made, when it's administered properly, when it's used the way it's supposed to, it's okay. The street stuff, one, isn't chemically processed properly, so it's all trashy. Two, there's lots of other things that are supposed to make it more fun or more addictive or more whatever in those products that are made in bathtubs and handed out at clubs. Do not take this stuff on the street. However, pharmaceutically produced, clean produced, someone who's like a chemist actually making this stuff, the safety profile on it's pretty high. Like for instance, just straight psilocybin, you will throw up because of the amount of mushrooms you consume before it will kill you. The LD50 on it's super high. The lethal dose on it's super high. But the big thing is that the way ketamine works specifically is it lifts all the neurotransmitters in your head. So GABA, dopamine, serotonin, all of them. They all come up at once. And when they all come up at once, it allows your body to kind of flush out those systems and reset them, how much they're using. So you can actually get a normal pattern redistributed. The other thing it helps to do is, and this is text from the literature, it helps to reset the default mental state. So think of it this way. You have a house on a hill and the general store is down here. You walk back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and you create a rut in the earth. And that's just kind of the path where you travel. Well, if there's a large snowstorm and it just comes and completely covers the whole area, well, now you can't see that rut. And now you have to blaze a new trail to go to the place you're going. So there's addiction things. The body goes, I want this thing, I want this thing, I want this thing. That helps go away. I'm always focused about this terrible, scary thing, this terrible, scary thing. It helps kind of knock that out. So, and we've had people who've had serious issues from war, from, trauma from being a first responder and seeing, dead bodies and horrible car wrecks and things like that. Those people get a lot better. That's your 9s and your 10s. I don't want anybody to think, well, I haven't been shot at. I haven't seen dead bodies in car wrecks. I haven't seen this horrible trauma. So I must not be needing this stuff. 100% wrong. The daily grind of, am I going to pay for my kids? Groceries are going up. I've got this bill coming in. When you're like, okay, I finally got everything ready. And then you're like, oh, hey, your pool heater needs to be fixed. It's, $5,000, or your AC or your brakes or like whatever, like this big thing that comes up and you weren't expecting it. That type of stress, that daily punch in the face, punch in the face, punch in the face, worried about your kids, worried about, school, worried about the state of the economy, worried about what's going on, all around you, worried about, hey, if inflation keeps going, I'm not gonna be able to buy my kids dinner. That type of stuff, that daily constant pressure stress is enough to create long-term stress issues. That's enough to destroy your gut function, your mental state, all of it. And so here's the fun thing about this. And this is just the way it works, because I don't know why, this is just the way the system works. If you get more stressed out, you slide into a more sympathetic state. As you're more sympathetic, you're less parasympathetic. That messes up the gut. So you end up getting low hydrochloric acid, allowing you to get a parasitic infection. Parasite comes in, eats all your probiotics, kills off a lot of the probiotics that are there. Yeast starts coming in, dysbiosis in the gut. Everybody's familiar with this. Here's the funny thing. The vast majority of the serotonin that your brain uses is made in your gut. So if your gut's all messed up, guess what you can't make? Serotonin. You decrease the amount of serotonin, you start feeling more stressed out. You have psychological problems. So yeah, that's the thing. And so lots of times when we go back through, when someone comes in and they've got psychological issues, stress, something like that, which is, by the way, every single patient I see. Not like, well, 10% of my patients need psychological help. 100% of them have issues with stress, because we live in a society that is inundated with stress. If you're not stressed up to here, if it's just to here, oh, you're relaxed, you're fine, don't worry about that. Because everybody else is here or here on their stress levels, whether they perceive it, acknowledge it or not, that's where they're at. Lots of times we'll have to go back, we'll fix their gut, put their gut back together so their body starts producing the serotonin and B vitamins, and their adrenals start getting better and everything starts getting better. And then they're like, all right, do I have to keep taking all these supplements? And I go, you've got 2 options. You can go run ketamine. You can run through our ketamine therapy, which is, by the way, not through my office. I don't make any money on it. You can go through over here and fix your mental state, which will allow you to slide from sympathetic back to parasympathetic, allowing your gut to reestablish itself. Or you can continue to take the supplementation and prop up your gut for the rest of your life. Your call. And sometimes you got to do a little bit of both. But I will tell you, of the people that I have worked with that have done the ketamine, done the psychedelics, they have all come back and said it was the greatest thing they've ever done for themselves, for their family, or for their lives. People have told me it was the thing that got them turned back onto God. People have told me it's the thing that's, got them back into their relationships. I've had wives come back in and say, since my husband's done this, we've been able to repair our relationship and we have a great relationship now. I've had kids tell me that after their parents did it, that they started feeling that they were more loved. Guys, it is a massive, massive thing, and it's super important. Look it up, find people who are doing it, and get it done. You want to get your mental state checked beforehand. Don't just use the drug, but if all you can do is use the drug, use the ketamine, use the psilocybin, it's going to help a little bit. But if you can get yourself in the right mental space, it'll help a lot more. I'm trying to put together enough that we can put together kind of a rough outline to do kind of a webinar on how to get your mind right and how to get everything set up. We'll start working on that a little bit more. Hopefully in a month or 2, we'll be able to put that out so that you guys can just watch this webinar and then go do ketamine or psychedelics, and it'll help. but it's always going to be best to get that actual person to kind of work with you on it, get you personally set up, get you ready to go. That's always going to be best. But guys, this stuff is legitimately, it'll create a mental health care revolution or renaissance if we can start getting the word out. So that's what the charity is for. That's what a lot of this talk is for. That's what the bodybuilding thing is for. That's what everything I'm trying to sit here and do is to help you guys understand how important it is. Get your mindset right. Get your ketamine in. Get your psychedelics done. Get this stuff pushed forward. It is wildly crazy important for you guys to look into. Whether you hear it from me, you hear it from Musk, you hear it from whoever. Get this stuff done. Don't do it as a recreational function. Do it as an actual function with a treatment protocol, a clinical protocol to get yourself better. But at the same time, guys, this is hyper critical. I know that Don Lemon was trying to be a jerk and trying to be a douche because that's who he is when he was asking these questions to Musk. But again, it's one of those, you tried to hurt somebody and you're going to end up helping people. So if you guys haven't learned about it, research it. If you don't know enough about it, ask me questions and I will do my very best to get you as much information as I can, because this is the key to a lot of people's problems. Like if you're going to pick one thing that is the most important, is it, the antioxidants, is it the testosterone, is it this? No, it's mental state. 100%. There's no question. Nobody can argue with this. It's better. It's more important than the oxygen issue, trying to fix oxygen. Fixing your psychological mental state, getting your mental state back where it's supposed to be, driven in the right direction, will change everything about your life for the better. So focus on that. Read about psychedelics. Again, don't be doing this in your house. It's fun to play with, and that's fine. But if you're going to do this as I want to help myself move forward, I want to get better as a human being, I want to, clear up the issues that are making me not as good of a father, not as good of a mother, not as good of a husband, wife, partner, business leader, whatever it is, you've got to start looking at mental state. It is the number one thing to start worried about. And psychedelics and ketamine are going to be a big piece of getting you where you need to go. So look into those. If you have questions, hit me up, questions@chalmerswellness.com. treeoflife.health is now up. It's where it is right now. Like we can't even donate on it. We'll make it prettier as we go along. I just had to get something out. So treeoflife.health is up. So check that out. But that's going to be the big thing. You guys really need to start looking at ketamine and psychedelics. Even if you don't think you need to, someone does. So check those out, and we'll keep pushing on it. We'll keep putting stuff out. So if you guys have any questions, just questions@chalmerswellness.com, and I'll answer some of those tomorrow. Thanks for your time.